there. Welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, coming to you from the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California. Hey everyone, this is Liza, and I have a really special episode for you this week. We're going back into the vaults in honor of my trip to the TT, Isle of Man, this year. I dug way back to 2015 when we had Yuri Barrigan on. This was the second time he was on the show, but after the first time, he raced at the Isle of Man Manx. He's a local guy here, so quite a legend to us to be able to go race on the Isle of Man. But what was significant for Yuri is he is the first and last person to race a supermoto at the Manx. He talks about that and the kind of the troubles he had. Apparently, the other racers didn't like it, and after that, they banned supermotos. So he snuck it in there. But what a fascinating story. He's a good storyteller, too. So I wanted to revisit Yuri Barrigan and the Isle of Man. Enjoy. So we had Yuri here. It's been a while now, like a couple months ago. And you were talking about how you were going to go to Isle of Man to go race in the Manx. So how'd it go, Yuri?
First of all, I want to say what's up to everyone, and thanks for inviting me back to the Motorcycles and Misfits podcast.
It's good to have you.
Cool stuff. Thank you, guys. And it's I've been back about 6 weeks, and we did the interview right before I left. So it's been about 7 weeks now since we last spoke.
Did you bring the medal?
And the mental scars have healed.
That's what I forgot. But we can
get out of here.
It's radio. We can say it's right here. Look at it. Look at that thing.
I did watch the video of you receiving that. That was pretty cool.
But that would be untrue.
I wanted to remind everyone what was so special about Yuri, that you were the first one accepted on a supermoto. Is there a difference between supermoto and motard?
Same thing.
One's
French. Yeah.
One's polite. Yeah.
Super motard would be the general classification for a 4-stroke single-cylinder motorcycle with road racing or 17-inch wheels on the front and rear. So that's basically how it's classified.
Technically different. So you're the first one to go there. Everyone said you couldn't do it. You're basically riding a dirt bike racing against race bikes. And I wanted to give a little background, too, about the difference between the Manx and the TT. Do you want to explain that?
Okay, so the Isle of Man TT, you can think of it as that's where professionals come to race the mountain course. That is the designation that the Isle of Man administration calls the race course on the island. It's called the mountain course. Now, everyone that you see that's in the televised Isle of Man TT race, all of those people are seasoned veterans that have gone around the course. That particular event happens in the last week of May, first week of June, every year. Now, the event that I raced in was a month later in August, and it's referred to as the Manx GP. And it is a dual festival along with what's called the Classic TT. So older motorcycles from around Europe and around the world come and gather so they can race older vintage motorcycles around the same course. And the Manx GP parallels the Classic TT in that they have many classes for modern machinery. Mm-hmm. And that's how amateurs gain experience on the mountain course coming from around the world. Mm. Now, everyone that you see in the TT, the quote-unquote professional race that happens earlier in the year, even the new people, quote-unquote newcomers to that, have had several years preceding in the Manx, where they've established times around the course, but it is the same course, the 37 3/4 mile mountain course.
And I was going to add that this was part of the FIM Grand Prix World Championships up until 1976, and where they moved it to England, but they continued to do the races there, and it's billed as the most dangerous track in the world, or the most dangerous race in the world. This is not kidding around. I mean, this is where you separate the men from the boys.
There's
Isn't that a little gender specific?
what the islander people and the people that have participated and been around the Isle of Man racing course for long periods of time, they refer to everything around the course as furniture. The stone walls, the wrought iron fencing, the corners of homes and buildings. And it was described to me, I heard a good analogy. Imagine a road that's narrow enough to where you couldn't drive two Cadillacs side by side down this road. That's how narrow it is. And there's no runoff like you would see on what's referred to as a short course track, Laguna Seca, Sears Point, et cetera, et cetera. There's nothing on the side but really
there's something on the side.
Immovable objects.
But even when there's not something, you can launch like high side on a turn and launch for hundreds of feet through the air. Something solid.
In some of the places you're in a mountain range that's kind of I would compare it. It's like windswept grassy hills like you would see in Hollister, California, or even in Skyline Boulevard up near San Francisco. Really windy pasture type areas with ancient stone walls, not fences, stone walls that designate property lines. And if you do go off the road, it usually is a 40 or 50 foot drop. And if you're carrying speed, you're going to go out about 40 or 50 feet, and then the drop becomes 110 feet.
Yeah, you're fucked at that point.
Yeah, you're a ballistic object at that point.
Yeah.
One of the main things I think you want to do while you're there is there's a gray blur and there's a green blur, and you want to stay on the gray blur.
That's a good way.
If it goes rainbow or plaid, then you know you're in trouble.
Gone to plaid.
So, all right. So you go over there. I can't even imagine. Like I've done a track day where you're trying to memorize a track, and you're kind of doing it one turn at a time.
Right.
How many turns are on this track, this course?
I believe it's somewhere in the neighborhood of right around 200, maybe a handful more, maybe two handful more. 200. It's 37 3/4 miles. So imagine trying to show up somewhere and remember 37 and 38 miles worth of course. Your first spin around it. It's going to be.
So already that's quite a daunting task. So you get there. I'm sure we'll get into like just checking in and all that, but the first time you get your rubber onto the track, how do you even wrap your head around that? How do you do that? What was that like?
It was, I know we don't have 10 hours to go back and forth and explain.
Take us turn by turn.
Everything that happened, but just skipping ahead and leading up to that point that you're getting to about when you've turned your quote-unquote first tire on. Well, there was a whole lead up to that didn't work out. And that first turning of the tire didn't happen for nearly 5 days into the event.
Wow.
So preceding that time, there was a whole series of events that were not conducive to me completing the task. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
So there was a huge load of pressure on me just leading up to turning that first wheel. And the thing about going on the track for the first time is that they don't just let you off the chain and you get to go do your thing. The first time you go on track, you must be led around by an experienced longtime veteran. And you're supposed to be led in a group on the first night of practice. And I just indicated to you guys that I did not get that till the fourth day of practice. So not only was that out of the sequence that was supposed to happen, I was put in a position where I had to go out and be led around by someone while the track was live with people blazing and going for their qualifying time. So it was I had to be cautious. I had to observe everything around me, plus try and learn the course. And what these guys tell you from the beginning, the mentors, the people who handle the newcomers and kind of guide them through their journey, the first thing they tell you on the first day of meetings is you're going to get a bunch of practice. Don't try and go out there and set your qualifying time on your first night out. You're going to get so many days of practice at the end of the 9 or 8 days of practice. Then try and go for your qualifying time then. That's what they instill in you. Well, the way it worked out, isn't the way it worked out for me. I'll just leave it at that at this point. But to your point of what was it like to go around the track for the first time, it's amazing, of course. It had to be what it was in the moment, as in play it cool, be mindful, try and absorb everything, and
don't fuck up.
Don't fuck up.
Were you,
that kind of thing.
were you wearing diapers?
No, I left those at home. I left those at home that day.
Yeah.
All right, so you keep squirreling around something here. What was this whole delay thing?
He looks like he doesn't want to talk about it.
Well, no. It's just so amazing and convoluted at the same time. Okay, so the way that the Manx event works is there is a rule book. And the rule book is in place for a reason. It's there because the people that run the event know how they have to run it in order to keep it safe and to keep it going. So there needs to be goals set for each newcomer so that they can have a successful race. And one of those goals that needs to be met is that you sign in on Friday, you have your first practice of the week on a Saturday. Sunday is a no-go. It's church day, whatever. Nothing happens. The offices are closed. Then you have practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of that week, and you race. And you have a practice on Monday, and then you race on Tuesday. That's the way my schedule goes. Every year it's done the same way. Well, weather can play a factor into it. Delays can play a factor in it. They close the course for your practicing in the evening because the island has to operate all day. People have to go to work. Kids have to go to school, et cetera, et cetera. If there is school. I think school was out of session, but so there's a small window to practice, and there's 400 or 500 guys that all got to get their practicing in. So you're playing against 5:45 at night and sunset, and it has to happen all in there. Okay, so you sign in on Friday, you go to practice on Saturday. Well, on the Saturday practice, that's one of those landmarks that as a newcomer you have to hit. You have to participate in that and get your lead lap. It's called a untimed lead lap. And if you don't get that in, you don't move forward in the event. That's just the bottom line. It's a rule. So what happened to me was I went through the tech inspection.
And make sure we leave time to come back to this, because I would assume they're looking at your supermoto and going, what the fuck? Yeah.
So there was all kind of questions about that leading up to it in itself.
Yeah.
So you can add that to the pile of stress that was on my back, about people coming by the tent and going, that ain't going to pass tech. This ain't going to pass tech. Like looky-loo type people trying to,
beat you down a little bit.
Yeah.
Psych you out, basically.
Really trying to, get under my skin with a bunch of hearsay type stuff. Yeah. So that was a whole little game in itself. Okay, so on the Saturday practice, I got my bike through tech. That went all smooth in the final say, and you tech every night. So there could be, and it's different tech people. You can't get the same tech person every night. Okay, so my bike went into quarantine, or the compound. It's called Parc Ferme. it sits in there for about 45 minutes before they start the outside track clock and they start lining everyone up. And that's a whole ordeal in itself because there's so many people. They line you up down this boulevard by number, and then it's incremental starts. So you have to wait through this whole line to get up the front. So your practice time becomes even more limited because if you're at the back of the line, you don't get let out onto the track.
Right.
After the track time has expired a little bit, it's like a track day.
Well, how long does that staging last for?
Okay, so the practices were only like I think the clock was like 50 minutes long. And if you're waiting in line for like 23 minutes, you can do the math and see, okay, I'm only going to get one lap in because when I come back around, the session will be over.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's rules that say you have to have X amount of laps done by certain times in the schedule, days-wise.
Yeah.
Anyways, I line up for my first practice around, and I need to be in my group to be on that lead untimed lap. My bikes have never been run on course. I need to know where they stand on fuel, et cetera, et
Was there
cetera.
like 10 people in the group?
They broke them up into fives.
Okay.
So there was three groups of, there was 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. There was 5 groups. My group slowly inched its way up to the start line. We're getting ready to go. My group leader is right there at the front. We're getting ready to go. My bike stalls.
I saw this in the video.
That's a whole different thing. That was the actual race.
Yeah, I was going to ask that later.
shitty.
That looked like
So my bike stalls. I'm freaking out. I watch my group go into the distance. I am not with them. That was a major thing that I needed to be a part of. So the bike didn't start. It didn't start back up. I saw my group go away.
Check the petcock.
Okay, so I go and I pull my bike. They pull me out of line. They pull me off the road. They get me behind the pit wall. I talk to one of the race directors. They say to me, if your bike's not going to start, there's still time in this session. If you can get your backup bike through the tech inspection and back up here before your group comes back around, we'll find someone to lead you around for your lead lap while the other people complete their second lap
Nice.
of
Oh
the
my God,
section.
this is tension.
Yeah, so I run down and my tent is not close.
Because your mechanic wasn't there to fix your bike.
I was there to fix my bike.
You are the mechanic.
Exactly. So I take my bike down to my tent, and just so happens it's uphill back to the area of everything else.
You're pushing your bike up?
So I get my second bike, push it up to tech in my leathers. I'm pouring sweat. I get the thing through tech inspection, but I had to rob parts off one bike, and I had to transfer number plates over and stuff like that. I had to fill it with gas. I get it up there. I get it through tech. The session's still going. I get up onto the pit wall where I'm going to exit from the hole in the wall. And this bike was an electric start bike, and I thumbed the starter. It wouldn't start.
Did you bump start it?
The bike wouldn't start. It has a kick starter. It wouldn't kick start. It won't bump start because they both have slipper clutches in them. That doesn't bump start. So we even put them on roller starters. You know, the guys have roller starters there. It would not start. They're saying, okay, when that clock reaches, say, 23 minutes left in the session, we can't let you go out because there won't be enough time to go around and come back in.
So I'm curious if were other people willing to help you? Like, oh, dude, that bro, he needs a hand. Let's all help out. Or were they like, motard motherfucker?
No, I did. It was really cool because people
cool
did
about it?
rally around. People brought the roller starter over to me. Roll your bike up on here. Let's get it started. You know, people came out of the woodwork all of a sudden.
That's cool.
And that's how the good karma of this whole trip started to build because of things like that. People just coming out of nowhere and helping. So I watch the clock. I'm trying to start it. All of a sudden, I'm looking up at the clock, and it says like 19 minutes left in the session, 18, 17. There's no hope. It's just pack it in. You got nothing. You get nothing.
Man.
So that was like a main thing. And I was thinking, that's it. I'm going to get I'm going to get drummed out of this event. I didn't do my lead lap. That's it.
And all those people that said you couldn't do it,
they were right.
Like haunting you at that point.
Yeah. So it was a bunch of. It was like that thing in The Simpsons where the kid points at him and he goes, "Ha ha."
Was there sabotage
Anything else?
involved?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So I take the bikes back down to my tent and I tear these things apart, top to bottom, till about 11 o'clock at night. And so we're checking air, fuel, spark, right? Which is the missing ingredient. They're all there. It's got air, it's got fuel, it's got spark. I put everything back together. It's getting super dark. It's just dark. I'm doing things by headlamp, no light, blah, blah, blah. And finally, a couple guys that I had begun to make relationships with came over to the tent and they were like, just stop. Just stop. You're going to be able to, tomorrow's Sunday. It's a rest day. You can go through everything. We'll talk to the officials and we'll get you on a lead lap and, we'll make it good on Monday morning. So I go to bed just sick, obviously sick. Couldn't eat no food. My stomach was just jacked up. Had just a little bit of water. Get a shitty night's sleep. Wake up at like 5 a.m, go into my little pit tent, get the bike all put back together with the final pieces. And then I hooked up with this guy. And he's like, hey, let's just go get some breakfast and stuff. So the first thing we did, though, before we went to breakfast, is we drove out to this place that the locals call the Ferry Bridge. And it's a place where all racers that come to the island pay their respects at this little place that it's a little bridge over a brook that people feel have, like superstitious or magical powers that the islanders believe in. And you pay your respects to the fairies is what it's called. It's what it's referred to as. So I chucked them a couple shillings into the water and I said hello to the fairies. We went and had breakfast. We came back to the tent. I got on the bike. First kick, the thing just fires right up.
Yeah. You just got to pay your respects. That's all.
That's it.
So the blue bike, same thing, fires right up.
Hey, Jim, can you do me a favor? Can you stand up and grab that little bell that's on the beam? Stand up.
Like, that's easy.
I believe you had the road trolls.
Oh, yeah, the gremlin bell.
Yeah, so
right on the beam next to the oil.
The wood joists up.
Right there. Grab it. Grab it. Your hands on it. Yuri, I present to you a gremlin bell.
Yeah, that's part of that's the
These
tradition.
only
right there.
work if they are gifted to you. You cannot buy it.
Yep.
Oh wow!
I don't think that's going to pass tech.
Yeah, is that safe to wear it on?
Safety wire the shit out of your box.
Yeah, that's cool.
You need to put that on your bike.
Yeah, so everyone the next day, after breakfast on the way to lunch time and everything, everyone was like, the long timers were like, hey man, that was fairy stuff going on. For whatever reason.
Everybody ran down there and did it.
For whatever reason, you were not meant to be out on course that night.
Yeah.
I kind of believe this. I
Yeah.
don't believe in a lot of shit, but I'm willing to believe this shit when it comes to motorcycles and them just not working. That maybe there's maybe something somebody's looking out for you.
I'm right there with you on this one because it was weird. It was definitely weird. And, going forward after doing the whole paying the respects to the fairy things, things started to turn around for sure. But there was still a huge storm to push through just going forward from that day. So,
Did you meet McGinnis?
I got a good story about that.
Is his teeth really that fucked up? This guy looks like the
And could you understand anything he said?
That guy's a road troll. I tell you what. This guy looks like the hunchback of fucking
Oh
England.
my God.
Jesus,
Yeah, at 200 miles an hour.
Hunchback.
that kind of fucking money, you think you get your teeth fixed. You know what I'm saying?
It's a British thing.
No way,
It's
man.
English.
I think he's a really handsome gentleman.
You're out of your fuck. I think you crashed there, man, because you're out of your fucking mind.
No, it's all good. He's
Do you want to share
met him
that
at the
story now?
well, it's in a way it's sort of secondhand. What ended up happening was there's a longtime announcer who sits at a certain spot on the course, and he's been doing the announcing for like 30 years, and he's a well-known gentleman over there. Well, anyways, his son, I guess, earned an entry in Newcomers B this year. And what he wanted to do is he wanted to be at the grandstand, the start-finish line, for his son's inaugural takeoff from the start-finish. So who did they have stand in as the special guest commentator? None other than Mr. John McGuinness. He sat in the commentator's box, and during my race, he sat and commentated at a certain spot that's called the hairpin. It's a famous turn on the course. As everyone came by, and there is a podcast somewhere of him commentating on the race, and he actually had to put eyes on me and make a comment about my riding when I came along. Yeah. Now I thought,
bloody hell!
Now I thought it would be a cheeky comment like, I don't even know what that guy was doing, or, I don't even know what he was on, but I guess he was super gracious, and there's good comments sitting somewhere on a podcast from the one and only John McGuinness about my riding.
We gotta find that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so you Monday morning, you got your lead lap?
No. No. So, okay.
So,
here's where it gets thicker. It gets thicker. So,
because I want to get to when you actually rode on the track.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sitting all weekend with all this nonsense building up in my brain. The stress levels are at max. You could say they're at 11 at this point. And so Monday morning rolls around, right? And we wait all day for practice. They've arranged a lead lap for me. All good. So I go through tech inspection, and at about 4:30, the clouds start rolling in off the ocean.
Hey, that's awesome.
The practice is due at 6:00. Well, it starts pouring rain promptly at 5:15.
Nice.
Practice is canceled for Monday night. So we all go back to our caves, put the bikes away, and wait for the next day. So Tuesday rolls around. We go through tech inspection. Practice is slated for 6:00. We get the bikes in the Parc Ferme about 4:15. The rain rolls in. Tuesday, rained out. Go back to your homes. Okay, so
I've seen people race in the rain though on there.
Okay, so here's the rule. Here's the rule. In the lowlands, it can be pissing rain, and they'll let people out on track. The catch is if the clouds blow across the highlands in the mountains and there's zero visibility up there, if they can't land the helicopter, practice is canceled. It's a safety thing.
Yeah.
Do people have rain slick tires?
You can change to rains, yes. Huh. Yes, rains are allowed.
What about the tech? Is it tech just like on a track day? I mean, is it very similar to like almost the same thing? Were you really prepared for that, or was there stuff that you weren't?
It's almost the same, only 100 times more stringent.
Yep.
So
are they looking for like drilled bolts and stuff like that, safety wire, the whole deal? Or
no, they're looking for the safety wire to be spun the right direction.
Holy shit!
And be pretty and neat and be legitimate, like aerospace legitimate. Not no track day. Just put some tape on it.
Yeah.
That don't fly.
Damn, dude.
That don't frickin' fly.
Yeah.
So
about how many bikes were knocked out of tech?
I couldn't tell you that number, but what I do know is that there was 27 bikes entered in my class, and by the main event there was 9.
Oh geez. Wow. That's a lot.
So that's the attrition that you see at this event, whether it be from mechanical failure, mental failure, physical failure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables going on.
It's like almost they don't want you racing that thing.
They do put you through a lot in order to test your fortitude, and I found that out later in the event, that a lot of the stuff is put in place to test your fortitude to see if you have the right stuff to be in their event. That's true. That's true.
I want to see how you were received. You
don't want to hear the rest of the story?
Well, I do, but I want to make sure we get to how you were received, because I want to see if that affected all these things that you were going through.
Well, when I got there, my head was down. Obviously, no one's paying any attention. But the first time the bike went through tech, people started seeing it rolled through the paddock, and obviously that was an anomaly, sort of a a weird gimmicky thing, and people were asking me like, "Is that bike in the event, or are you just rolling it around? You know, what's going?"
Why's he got that pit bike?
Are you selling that thing or
Yeah,
what?
yeah. There was a lot of questions swirling around, and there was a lot of rumor going around. Then people saw me with the stall predicament up in my first thing, and there started to be some things popping up on social media, some pictures of the bike up there and everything. And so at that point, it was just kind of like an oddity type situation. But people had known going into this event that I was coming from the United States with this thing. The first day that I got there, I went to go get a bottle of water at the store, and there was some motorcycle mags on the shelf. And I thumbed through, and I got one. And I went back to my little hut and was reading it, and there was an article in the magazine about me. I was tripping on that. I was like, well, no one contacted me about this.
Oh, really?
You know?
Wow.
It was just this article. This guy from California, he's coming to test the Isle of Man, blah, blah, blah. So that was kind of cool.
I hate it when that happens.
When
So often.
after that Tuesday rain out, we went for Wednesday, and they were like, okay, you're way down on laps. There's 2 other newcomers in that same boat with no laps. They didn't get their lead lap. So instead of us putting you in the back, what we're going to do is we're going to put you up front of everyone in the event, and we're going to send you out with a lead guy to lead you around 10 minutes before everyone goes out.
Nice.
Right.
So at this weird stage, I'm in the front queue, and I look back, and there's 400 bikes lined up. I'm in the pit row of Isle of Man on my supermoto in the front of all these people.
Jesus.
Please don't stop. Please don't stop.
The rumors were
Yeah. It was a really cool feeling. It was stressful and everything, but it was really neat.
Okay, can I just point out, you're on a supermoto, which isn't the fastest bike there.
Right.
They're sending you out in front of 400 people.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's like a nightmare, being chased by all these bikes.
Yeah. I thought it would be, a
Were
little.
you on the supermoto naked? Was it a nightmare?
Felt like it. But I figured 10 minutes ahead of everyone, that'd give us a really good chance to be way out on the course before they started sending people out, which it did work out that way. And what was neat about the course is that the guy that was leading me was this really big medicine guy. On a high-powered team. His bike was really nice, and I thought he was just going to, jam away and be gone. And he kept a really spirited pace, and it ended up being really relaxed. And once I got a couple corners into the course, it was like I was at home. I really had fun. It was like true fun.
There it is.
And I really forgot about the surroundings and just was on a road ride, So,
Rad.
And then what was weird about it is that like the people that were with me were actually holding me up. Like he was starting to gap us, and they weren't getting it done in front of me. And I had the mindset of, let everyone go in front of you because you're going to be the slowest on the slowest bike. And it didn't work out that way. They were checking up for corners that I could just rail around, and it was just fun.
What was your top speed going through that? Because I understand you're on a 450, right?
Right.
And you're just wide open throttle the whole
Wide
damn
open,
time.
right. So they have all the sectors have electronic timing and scoring, and there's one particular sector that measures your top speed. And the first time through there was untimed, so I didn't have any indication of what the top speed was.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
But when I came around, they had told us, if you come around to the start-finish line and there is not a checkered flag, that means your session is not over and you can do a flying lap. Go.
Yeah.
You'll be off the chain. You can do passing if you need to do passing, whatever you want. So when I came around, the lead instructor that I was behind, he was gone. He had already ditched me, and there was a green flag still displayed.
Yeah.
So I just knew I could do whatever I wanted. And at that point, I just blazed.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about it is we're already on Wednesday night. So my window for a qualifying time had become very small. And I didn't know where I stood on what the bike would do around the course.
Right.
So I just put my head down and I just went. And after that first time around, it seemed like I had learned the course.
Yeah.
I had remembered all the corners. So when I went around the second time, I did a full lap. I came in, I parked the bike, I went up to the timesheets, and my very first time was a 27:37.
Okay.
27 flat was the qualifying time. So I knew right then that we were super close.
Yeah.
It's like 23 seconds off.
Yeah.
No, a little 33 seconds off. Yeah, 33 seconds off. So right then I knew that we were in a good position to qualify the bike. So the next day, Thursday night rolls around. There had been rain. It was spotty wet. No one is expected to do a qualifying time when it's wet.
Yeah.
It was just spotty wet. So I knew it would be iffy.
Yeah.
There could be rivers going across any point of the course.
It'd be like, the hills in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
So before I went out into that session, there's this guy
This guy
that I met. He came over to my tent and he introduced himself, and I had no idea who he was.
He
Right?
said, "Do you cruise hard?" Why is this dude mean mugging me?
Hard, bro.
That wasn't the accent he had, but he's like, I talked to a few of my friends. He just put it like that. I talked to a few of my friends, and here's what we think you should do in order to get that qualifying time today. You're going to have to do it pretty quick. And all along, these guys are saying you're going to have to ease into it. Well, there was no easing into anything.
Yeah.
I had to seize my opportunity to make that qualifying time as soon as possible. What he said is the first thing is that now you know the fuel consumption. There was questions about my fuel. He's like, you have enough fuel to do 2 laps if you make the main event. That's already done and said. The next thing you need to do is you need to get as small as you can on the motorcycle. You need to get as aerodynamic because your top speed is fuck all. It's nothing. It's not enough. That 37 lap the day before, down the straightaway, I was clocked at 108 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. They told me that I would need to be at least 123 miles an hour in order to qualify.
I'd like to say in the TT, I think they're getting up to about 200.
At
They
least.
are doing 200.
At least. At least. But that's the professionals in the A group or whatever. So mine's
not
just
the flying
mine's the little
Right.
lightweight.
That's fucking cruising hard, bro.
But what I found out, though, looking at the timesheets, is that the people in my class were doing anywhere from 123 to 140 down that same straight. So they're in a much better position to make the average qualifying speed needed.
So you're in the C's or B's?
I'm in newcomer C,
Okay.
which is the lightweight classification.
Yeah.
So this guy who tells me all this stuff, come to find out later, he's like friend of the stars. I mean, this guy hangs with Ryan Farquhar, McGinnis, Martin,
People know him.
Ian Hutchins.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy is a known guy. He did very well in the 250 class when it was 252 strokes, which they call that one is the B. It's the B class is what that is. Lightweight is what they call that one in TT. So he gives me some words of advice. Whatever, go on, and I get my bike. It looks like it's going to be clear, spotty wet. We get up there on Thursday night, and I make this goofy decision that I'm going to fill my 4-gallon gas tank half full. I'm going to lose a fuel load to get the bike as light as I can and try and just squeak it by if I make the checkered flag to get a flying second lap. That's my game plan, and get as small as I can on the bike. So I get the green flag. Everything's going cool. I put my head down. I've hit all the markers, do a blazing good lap, get around, and there's no checker flag. It's green. I keep going, head down, and I get about 8 miles in, and there's this long straightaway. It's called the Kronk Vadi straightaway, and my tank is transparent, so I looked on the side of it, and I could see that my fuel was very low already. So I made a decision, and I cranked it onto reserves at that point because it was a straightaway, and so I could divert attention there for a moment and get the thing on reserves. Well, I get around the course, and there's a delineation between the low levels of the course and the mountain of the course. And the first flag station I went by into the mountain, there was a yellow flag displayed, and I could see the pea soup of the clouds had blown in. Every station that I hit from that point was displaying the yellow flag, and I couldn't see nothing. It was like I could see probably 10, 15 feet in front of me.
Shit.
That's no good for making a qualifying time.
No.
So I went.
But it's good for commuting in San Francisco.
I went from 80 miles an hour down the straightaway to like under 20. It was that thick, the pea soup.
Ouch.
So when I got to the edge of the mountain section, it's like a water slide plunge at the end. It's called Kate's Cottage, and it just drops out of the clouds, and you make your way down to this iconic pub called the Craig na Ba. And it's a long, long straightaway down to it. Well, right.
Is it a brick bar with a brick front?
It's got a brick front. Yeah. It's an iconic bar in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of like the back 40 of the course. So I'm going down the straightaway, and my bike starts to misfire. I know it's out of gas. I know right away. So I pull in the clutch, and the thing dies. And I roll into the Craig na Ba, and immediately people are pouring over the walls of the pub, and I have this crowd of like 50 people around me. Some are saying, "We'll push start you." The other half are saying, "What's wrong? What's wrong with your bike?" And then the other people have
a beer.
They have their cell phones, and they're waving them in my face, saying, "You've done it." They're just yelling, "You've done it! You've done it!" And I wasn't paying attention to none of that shit because I look down on the right side of my gas tank, and where the gunnel hangs down, I can see a shadow of fuel in there.
Extra special reserve.
Yeah, well, I knew right then that the tank wasn't, which I thought, designed that it would cross over in all circumstances.
Yeah.
It was trapped.
Right.
The gas was trapped on that right-hand side.
Classic.
I dumped the bike on its side and sloshed all the gas over there, picked it back up. Bam, it started right up. Everyone's like, "Go, go, go," because in the grand scheme of things, you need lap count by a certain day. So I needed to finish that second lap, and I was only like 6 miles from the finish. So I blasted it back out onto the course. I went down like 2 miles to the next little checkpoint, and there's a guy standing in the road with a red flag, waving to me, and I pull over because you got to obey everyone there, and he's like, "Get off the course." And I said, I can make it. He's like, "I don't care." I said, "Come on, man, I need this second lap. I need this second lap to qualify." And he's like, "You get nothing. You got 1 lap in. Your second lap will not count. Park your bike." So I didn't argue with the guy. I leaned it up against the hay bales. He came over and he said, "You have to wait till the course is cleared to be opened, and then you can ride back to the grandstands." So I had to wait like 10 or 11 minutes. They opened it to public traffic. Here I am riding my race bike with everyone in regular commuter nighttime traffic. I was fuming mad about the guy's attitude because he really wasn't all that decent to me. So I stormed my way into the race control, and the lady in there, super nice lady that was part of the race director contingent. She told me, just calm down. You'll get more days to practice. You'll get your other 2 days of practice that you'll need to have in your pocket along with your qualifying time. Well, okay, so I left there. I rolled my bike down to the marquee where I had my tent set up, and there was like a crowd of people, probably 60 people around the tent when I rolled in there, and they were just freaking out. "You did it, you did it, you did it." So what had happened is I did a 26:34 on that first lap.
Oh, nice.
I did my qualifying time in that one shot. And so it was like that night I probably went to bed with like 29 friends on the social media.
Yeah.
And I woke up in the morning to like 300 friends requests.
I was watching that happen.
And there was like all these pictures on social media. People just flooded. I mean, things just changed overnight. It was so bizarre.
Yeah.
It all became real. And everyone who had said like, "You can't do it, your bike will never do it," it was just like, whoa,
Well,
this guy.
you.
Is Yamaha going to send you a check
or anything at all about this? The Yamaha Corporation, maybe extra pistons or?
They ain't sending me.
I want to make sure we cover the controversy. Why it was such a controversy for you to be there, and is it still a controversy? Because they're saying, was it all because you hang your leg out? Was this the biggest problem?
Right. After that first night of legitimate practice, when I set the qualifying time, each night you have to go through another tech inspection, and they take this little magic wand and they touch it on your transponder when you're in the line, and it sends a signal to a computer, and the lady either gives you a thumb up from the garage to move forward in your inspection regime, or she gives you a thumb down. Well, she gave me a thumb down, and I was like, what? And they all have headphones on with microphones, and I can tell the guy's listening to instructions, and he leans over to me and pulls his headphones off, and he says, Race Direction has a hold on your technical inspection. You need to go talk to Race Direction right now. So I lean my bike up against the wall, and I go in there, and the lady's like, the race director is in the tower right now because practice is getting ready to commence. He can't speak to you. I know what he wants to speak to you about. Come in this office. So I get pulled into this office, and she shuts the door, and she said, we've gotten wind that on social media there are pictures everywhere of you with your foot down on the course. You can't do that. And I said, I just agreed with her. Okay. She said, this isn't a short course. Your feet must remain on the pegs at all times. No touching of feet on the course during your runs. I said, okay, that's fine. That's fine. She's like, you need to do that from now on. Do you understand what I'm telling you? And I said, yes. And I before I left the office, I said, I just have one question for you. Have any of the marshals on course said that I've been riding erratically or in an unsafe manner? And she said, well, no. And I said, had any other competitor complained that I was riding erratically or in an unsafe manner? And she said, well, no. And I said, okay, that's all I wanted to get clear with you. And I turned around and I walked out. And so the hold on my bike, tech got cleared, and I went through tech inspection, and I went out that night on Thursday night just to circulate because I'd already done my qualifying time. So it was just to play it cool, get course knowledge. And so I toyed around with keeping my foot up on the bike for that practice.
Yeah. Wasn't too difficult getting your weight over the front though, right? You just kind of just leaned over a little bit more, or,
No. There's a funny little thing that happened during this whole thing is that night I got a funny email, and there are over 500 corner workers on that course because they each need to see each other from corner to corner. There can be
for signaling.
There can be no visual blank spots across the whole course. So it takes an army of volunteers to do that. Mm-hmm. Well, in an appreciation and thank you to those course workers, they hold what's called the Marshals Supper every day. It's every year. It's a tradition, and it's only the marshals. No competitors and no other people are allowed in this special banquet.
Yep.
I got this email from one of the marshals, and it said, hey, would you be our guest at the marshals dinner tonight?
Shit.
Oh, wow. Shit.
And I was like, I immediately texted her back and was like, sure, no problem. And then I started asking my long-timer friends who are Manx men who are born and raised, and they were like, the last guy that got invited to that was this guy, and he was just some big medicine guy, and he was the one guy.
Yeah.
If you get invited to this, it's a great honor. You don't refuse it, and you humbly accept. This is huge that you go to this. Okay, so I texted the lady back. My dad had actually come over the night before, and I said, hey, can my father come and go to this? And they're like, sure. So we go over there to this big VIP pavilion, and we go to the front door, and they let us through, and they're like, this way. They're like, come this way. And they brought us to this big round table, and it's like, there's like 100 tables in this giant pavilion, and it's packed with people. And they bring us to this table up front by the stage, and it has this reserve thing on it. And they tell us to sit there, and it's like only me and my dad, and like everyone's staring at us, and it was like
they're bringing out the knives and read the course.
It doesn't turn into like a Monty
Put this
Python
blindfold
episode.
on.
Yeah.
At the round table.
We were like looking around, and everyone was coming over the table and like saying, "Hey, we saw you ride today when you came by this position, like where they were marshaling. You were going crazy. It was cool, and we couldn't believe it, and this and that." So people were just coming around,
Keep leg out legal.
Like God is not a
New bumper
crime.
sticker.
So the main guy, the second in command of all the marshals, he comes over and he's like, "Hey, after we go through some awards for some of our marshals and make some announcements, will you come up on stage and talk with us for a minute?" And I'm like, "Sure," just like this, sitting down and having fun with people.
Dude, that's fucking rad.
So they call me up on stage in the middle of this thing, and it's like the lights are all low and they got a spotlight, it's like a whole theater production. And I'm sitting up with this guy talking one-on-one, and it's like one of those Duke videos where they're talking to the bigwigs of TT and they're having this conversation on that same stage it's that same stage where they have the VIP pavilion, and it's the TT stuff behind you. And anyways, my dad's there with the video camera. He videotapes this whole interview and it goes on for like 35 minutes, and he taped the whole thing. They had this question and answer time, and they passed the microphone around, and someone asked me that, "Hey, why is your foot on the ground?" And I go into this big explanation about how it's not like a Rossi thing where you see him dangling his foot out in MotoGP. For me, it's a safety thing to hold my bike up in case the front washes, because it's long travel. When you're on a super bike, you have the short travel in the front, the 3-inch travel.
Yeah.
And then you want to use your knee out because you got a lot of weight on that front end. Well, for me, with 12 inches of travel on the front, when you get on the gas, it changes the weight distribution. And when you get weight off the front and you're in a corner, because you got to gas it through the corners to hold corner speed on my bike, then it does this thing where it wants to tuck or it wants to wash.
Yeah.
Then throw in gravel, painted lines, water on the floor, all kinds of stuff. So when I lose the front end, I actually push up my foot. Well, by the end of this whole song and dance explanation, everyone in the whole pavilion stands up and starts clapping, because
Finally figured it out.
everyone gets
goes into
it.
riding a
Everyone
supermoto.
freaking gets it from that point.
One of us.
create like a-
One of us.
Yeah, so then
So is it all the rage now?
social media just, gets wind of all that stuff that went on, because there was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Well, from that point on, the administrators didn't hassle me,
That's pretty cool.
We're already at the hour mark. We're winding up, so I want to
I
make
told
sure.
you you needed 10
I
hours
know.
for this
I
story.
know, but I want to make sure
The race.
you keep talking about you qualified.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean, and what is next?
To qualify for an event, you must meet the minimum time requirements laid out in their rule book. So for each class of motorcycles, you must meet a minimum requirement of circulation around the course in order to be considered to participate in your main event. The reason why they have those markers in place is because even if you were to be accepted on an application, they can't just have someone. They absolutely do not want any quote-unquote touring out on the course.
Mm-hmm.
You're there to go.
No squids.
You're there to do the business. You're not there to fool around. So they have these minimum times laid out, because you could have a really good road racer go over there and not make the minimum time just because for whatever reason they're not comfortable with the environment of the walls, the slickness of the pavement, learning all these corners. It's not like short course at all.
Yeah.
So that's why the qualifying times are in place. And to go along and piggyback with that notion, these guys have been doing this course for so long, the timing and scoring people, and they have the sectors laid out to where they know exactly how many miles per hour you have to carry in order to make X amount of time. It's like a mathematical equation.
Mm-hmm.
You can't cheat the math in any way. And that's what they were telling me. They were saying, your bike does not make the top speed needed in the straightaway sections in order to make that time, because there is no way you can make the difference up in corner speed, quote unquote, on the slow corners.
Yeah.
Well,
Could you put like a turbo in there or like nitrous? Can you do
No.
that?
no, that's
So
not.
okay, but
No, but you can out-corner the super bikes.
How about a KTM 690 or something?
That's totally allowable. It's
Yeah.
0 to 750 cc 4-stroke singles
Bang! There it is.
for that class.
so are you going back?
The gears are definitely in motion, and I I do have a desire, and I'm making plans right now.
Sounds like you need sponsorship.
It sounds like you're hooked.
I am. Something has definitely changed in my mind, and I feel so comfortable there. And what happened this year was so positive is that I had people already approach me with offers.
Well,
and some are for no money, and then there are offers where I would produce money to participate again.
So, quick
Do you
question.
think? Oh. No, sorry, go
Okay, like a community. We were talking about how when you got up there, we were asking about how you were received, kind of weirdly at first, but then like people started coming out of the woodworks and people were just helping you out, and it was very grassroots kind of an environment because everybody there is kind of like on their bucket list and they do that.
Yeah, it's an incredible environment for sure. In that everyone there is so immersed and so into what's going on. It's not just like, oh, these guys are racing motorcycles and I don't really know what goes on out there. I mean, these guys are from little children to wives to girlfriends to husbands to participants. The knowledge level is huge, meaning they know exactly what's going on. They know about the schedules. They know about the mindset. They know about the history. They know about what it takes. And then along with that, there's the crews, and the other riders are super knowledgeable and super into it and willing to help. I ran across zero selfishness the whole time. I think I saw one petty argument over parking the whole time I was there. And you see that all the time at short course racing here at our tracks.
Yeah.
There's always petty arguments about space and power outlets and stuff like that. And that's just not even... That's not present there
you
at
mentioned
all.
the community and the environment.
Yeah.
I was just thinking like how opposite that is about race courses in the states that I've seen. Like, look at Osaka, where you have the wankers who move next to a racetrack that's been there for decades and then complain about the noise.
Right. I mean, these people that live there, their front yards are off limits. They can't get their cars in and out for 3 hours a night. You know, it's closed off, but they're all good with it. They'll sit out on their porch with beers.
Front row seats.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you started out just having a miserable experience and it completely turned around.
It did turn around in that I began hitting my markers as far as what did I need to have happen. But the thing is that there are rules about how many laps you need to get in. And all of my stress went up to the night before the race because I brought 2 motorcycles, and the rules say that whichever motorcycle you use in the main event, there has to be a qualifying time done on that motorcycle, and it has to have at least 2 laps under its belt. So when I say that I set that qualifying time, I set it on my blue bike. On the Tuesday night before the race, I had to take... On the Monday and Tuesday night before the race, I had to take my white bike out, get laps on it, and make a qualifying time on that bike too. And there was always a question about the weather and getting all that done. And they had said that you will not know if you're in the main event till the morning of the main event when they post the list, qualifying time or not. So I had always had this thing in my chest about... My place in the main event was always in a precarious position until I saw my name on that list. So I didn't want to believe it till my name was on there. So I had stress all the way to the night before. So it just everything compiled all the way up to the 8 hours before the race.
So all in all, totally worth it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we sit around here and we BS about it and we talk about looking back on it. But in my mind, to do something that no one else has ever done before and to have those people recognize it is a pretty awesome thing.
Sounds like you had a great time. How is the beer out there?
the thing is I did not touch a drop of alcohol till I finished my race. And then I had mixed drinks all night. But those people over there,
they get down.
It's beers.
Yeah.
I didn't see the bartenders there mix one mixed drink. They got the easiest job in the world. They just pour beer all night. Yeah. They don't mix one drink.
Well, I'm really glad that you came in to share this story. I know that I was watching everything happening. I was watching as it was happening on your Facebook page, and then I was also watching the responses you were getting.
Right.
And how you were inspiring other people.
Yeah,
Dude,
that was really weird, huh?
To do that.
Yeah, how many supermotos are we going to see next year out there?
So, but I just have one last question for you before we wrap on this. Do you believe in fairies?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I do too now.
Every morning I would say hello to the fairies. Every freaking morning.
And then tell them, get out now.
Someone even gave me a little pewter fairy pin, and it rode along with me in my inside pocket.
Nice.
For the race. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully you'll keep coming back in for more podcasts and sharing stories.
I want to hear more.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to the race.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
We'll have a Yuri part 3.
You did it, and that's what's amazing. Yeah. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed that blast from the past and hearing a lot of the older Misfits voices. Thanks so much for listening, and you can go to motorcyclesandmisfits.com. You'll find the link to our store. We got new t-shirts coming out, and you'll find a link to where we're going to be, what events we're at. But you can also email us at motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. Let us know where you're going this year. So, time to get out of here. Thanks, everyone. This is Liza.